Long I sound as I plus GH. The first way to spell the long I sound is with I plus silent GH, as in, night. Long, I, sounds like the name of the letter I. The I is said to have a long sound when it sounds like the name of the letter I. The I, in, sight, sounds like the name of the letter I, and that makes it a long I. Compare, sit, with, sight. The I, in, sit, does not sound like the name of the letter I without the silent GH. We would have the word sit, not sight, and the I, in, sit, has the short I sound. Compare short I with long I, and then compare homonyms of long I: lit, light knit, night knit, night fit, fight frit, fright flit, flight slit, slight. Sit, sight mit, might hit, height bit, bite bite, bite sight, sight, sight might right, right playwright high, higher, higher, air. The homonyms theory means having different spelling patterns of a sound to tell words apart. Compare sit with sight. The rule is that an I, followed by a silent GH, as in, sight, sounds like a long I. Without the silent GH, we would have sit, not sight. Perhaps the IGH spelling pattern of long I was accepted into English to tell apart homonyms like sight, sight, and sight. Once the IGH pattern was used to tell apart specific words, more words ended up being spelled with it. The word night is chosen in these series of sentences because it contains the IGH phonic, and learners remember the spelling of the words that contain the IGH phonic by associating them with the night in this series of sentences. Such series of sentences may or may not turn into a story that makes sense, and the chief purpose is for remembering the spelling of words in one story. The knight had to stay overnight. The knight had a nightshirt on. The knight went to sleep late at night. The knight woke up after midnight. It was nighttime and the knight kept his nightlight on to avoid having nightmares. The knight woke up to the singing of the nightingale. The knight saw the daylight at dawn. The knight got up and used a bright highlighter to mark his flight time. The knight's flight was at twilight. The knight was right-handed. The knight was slightly lightweight. The knight's weight was lighter than usual. The knight was not far-sighted. The knight was near-sighted. The knight did not like being in the spotlight. The knight let a sigh. The knight enjoyed sightseeing. The knight was less uptight after going sightseeing. The knight was generous. He was not a tightwad. The knight was politically enlightened by his pal. No one knew if the knight was a rightist or a leftist. The knight was a bright playwright. The knight wrote a play entitled The Knight in Shining Armor. The knight was right to copyright his book. The knight was downright when he did that. The knight had some profound insights about right-wing and left-wing groups. The knight had lots of might. Nothing frightened the knight. The knight climbed high mountains. The knight might have gone to a bullfight in Spain. The knight moved to the Washington Heights area near the highway. The knight forgot to write the silent E in Heights when he wrote down his new address. Later on, he learned the spelling of Heights when he compared it with the silent E in Eiffel Tower. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to learn more.